There are days when everything feels like it's hanging by a thread. When you wake up and before your feet even touch the ground, your mind is already racing ahead, listing worries you didn't consciously invite. You check your phone, scroll through other people's lives, and it seems like everyone else has figured something out that you haven't. It's subtle at first, just a quiet comparison, but it grows into this heavy feeling that maybe you're behind, or maybe you missed a turn somewhere along the way. And even if you try to shake it off, it lingers, sitting in the background of your thoughts like static. You can't quite tune out. You start to question things you never used to question. Decisions you made years ago suddenly feel like they might have been wrong. Relationships you invested in make you wonder if you gave too much or not enough. Even your own timing begins to feel suspicious, like life is happening for everyone else at the right pace, and you're stuck in some kind of delay that nobody can explain. It's exhausting carrying that quiet doubt around, especially when you're still showing up every day, still trying, still hoping things will click into place. And the truth is, nobody really talks about how normal that feeling is. People love to talk about breakthroughs, about success stories, about the moment everything changed. But they rarely sit with you in the in-between, the long stretches where nothing seems to be happening, even though you're putting in effort. The seasons where you're growing, but it doesn't look like growth yet, where things feel uncertain, messy, unfinished. It's in those moments that your mind tends to fill in the blanks with worst-case scenarios, because uncertainty can feel a lot like failure if you let it. You might find yourself replaying conversations, overanalyzing small details, wondering if you said the wrong thing or if someone misunderstood you. You might hold on to people longer than you should, hoping they'll eventually meet you where you are, even when deep down you can feel the imbalance. Or maybe you've already started letting go of certain people, and that comes with its own kind of ache, because even when it's the right decision, it doesn't always feel easy. At the same time, there's this quiet desire inside you for something more. Not just success in the obvious sense, but a life that feels right, a space that feels like yours, a routine that doesn't drain you, relationships that don't feel like guesswork. You want stability, but also excitement, comfort, but also growth. And sometimes it feels like asking for all of that at once might be too much, like maybe you're supposed to settle for less and just be grateful for what you already have. But then there are those small moments that interrupt the doubt. A random conversation that lifts your mood. A day where things just flow a little easier. A reminder that you're actually capable of more than you give yourself credit for. Those moments don't last forever, but they matter. They're like little signals that something is still moving, even when you can't see the full picture yet. It's funny how life works like that. You can be in the middle of confusion and still be exactly where you need to be. You can feel lost and still be moving in the right direction. The problem is, we expect clarity to come before movement, when in reality, clarity usually shows up after you've already taken a few uncertain steps, and those steps don't always feel confident or bold. Sometimes they're hesitant, quiet, even reluctant, but they count. You're allowed to not have everything figured out yet. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to outgrow people, places, and versions of yourself that once felt permanent. Growth isn't always loud or obvious. Sometimes it looks like setting boundaries you used to avoid. Sometimes it looks like choosing yourself in small, almost invisible ways. And sometimes it just looks like getting through the day when everything in you wanted to shut down. There's also this pressure to have a clear timeline, like by a certain age you should have achieved specific things. A certain kind of job, a certain kind of relationship, a certain kind of lifestyle. And if you don't, it can feel like you're falling behind in some invisible race. But the reality is, most of those timelines are made up. They're stitched together from other people's expectations, cultural norms, and highlight reels that don't show the full story. Behind every perfect situation you see, there are things you don't see. Doubts, setbacks, sacrifices, moments of uncertainty. Nobody's life is as smooth as it looks from the outside. And comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's curated version of their life will always leave you feeling like you're lacking something, even when you're not. What you're building right now, whether it feels like it or not, is your own path. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's to be valid. It doesn't have to make sense to everyone around you, and it definitely doesn't have to happen all at once. Some things take time not because you're doing something wrong, but because they're meant to unfold gradually, in a way that actually lasts. You might not see it yet, but there are things already shifting in your life. People you haven't met yet who will change the way you see things. Opportunities that will come at the right moment, even if that moment doesn't match the timeline you imagined. Situations that will make sense in hindsight, even if they feel confusing right now. Life has a way of connecting dots that you didn't even realize were part of the same picture. And yes, there will still be challenges. Things won't suddenly become perfect in a way that eliminates all difficulty. But your relationship with those challenges will change. You'll start to trust yourself more. You'll recognize patterns quicker. You'll know when to hold on and when to let go. And that makes a bigger difference than having a completely problem-free life, because that kind of life doesn't really exist. There's something powerful about the way things come together over time. Not instantly, not all at once, but steadily. A conversation leads to an opportunity. A difficult ending makes space for a better beginning. A moment of doubt pushes you to grow in a direction you hadn't considered before. When you look back, it starts to feel less like randomness and more like a sequence that had its own kind of quiet logic. You don't need to force everything into place right now. You don't need to have all the answers before you move forward. You don't even need to feel completely ready. Most people aren't, even if they look like they are. What matters is that you keep showing up in whatever way you can manage, even on the days when it feels pointless. Because the truth, simple as it sounds, even if it's hard to fully believe sometimes, is that things have a way of working out. Not always in the exact way you pictured, but often in ways that end up fitting you better than your original plan ever could have. The right people do find their way into your life, and the ones who aren't meant to stay eventually drift out, even if it takes time. The things you're working towards start to take shape, even if progress feels slow at first. The life you're hoping for doesn't appear overnight, but it builds piece by piece, often while you're busy worrying that nothing is happening. So instead of trying to control every outcome or predict every turn, maybe what you really need is a small shift in how you speak to yourself through all of this. Something steady, something reassuring, something you can come back to when your mind starts spiraling into doubt again. Because if you keep reminding yourself gently, consistently, that your life is not falling apart but slowly coming together, that the right things are finding you just as you're finding them, that the version of your life you've been hoping for is already in progress, even if you can't see it clearly yet, that quiet belief has a way of changing how you move through your days. And maybe that's the part nobody emphasizes enough. Not the idea that everything will magically become perfect overnight, but that choosing to believe over and over again that things are working out for you, even before you have proof, can slowly reshape the way your life unfolds.